Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Let's Learn with Lizzie. Today we are going to explore one of the most interesting and humorous dramas from your supplementary reader, Footprints Without Feet, the book that saved the earth, written by Claire Boiko. Now before we begin, I want you to think about something. Can something as simple as a nursery rhyme book prevent a war? It sounds unbelievable, right? But this drama cleverly shows how ignorance and misunderstanding can completely change the course of history. This is not just a funny science fiction story. It is a satire on blind leadership, a commentary on the importance of books, a reflection on knowledge versus arrogance. Since this chapter is important for your board examination, we will analyze plot, characters, themes, dramatic techniques, irony, symbolism, and message of the drama. So let us begin our journey into this fascinating drama. To understand the drama properly, we must first understand its background and genre. This is a science fiction comedy drama. Science fiction because it includes Martian, it includes space travel, it is set partially in the future. Comedy because the situations are humorous, the misunderstandings are over exaggerated, the characters behave in a ridiculous way. But beneath the humor lies a serious message. The drama is framed through a historian from the 25th century who looks back at an incident from the year 2040. This technique creates curiosity. We know from the beginning that Earth was saved, but we want to know how. This technique is called a flashback narration and it makes the play dramatically engaging. Now let us understand the setting carefully because the setting itself creates irony here. The play operates in two time periods. The 25th century where the historians narrate the story, the year 2040 where the Martians attempt to invade planet Earth. There are also two major locations. One is Mars Space Control and the other is Canterville Public Library on Earth. Now observe the contrast. On one side we have highly advanced Martian technology, space probes, interplanetary communication. On the other side, a simple public library, ordinary books, nursery rhymes. The contrast itself creates humor and satire. It is ironic that advanced beings fail to understand something as basic as books. This irony forms the backbone of the drama. The historian gives us an important statement about the 20th century. Let us examine it closely. The historian says the 20th century was often called the era of the book. Why? Because books were everywhere. They educated people, entertained them, guided them, and preserved knowledge. Notice the deeper implication here. Even in the 25th century, books are still preserved in museums. This means books have long lasting value. Knowledge recorded in books survives centuries. Technology may change, but written knowledge remains important. The dramatist subtly reminds us not to neglect reading in the digital age. For exam answers, always mention that books symbolize knowledge and civilization. Now let us move on to the plot development, how the invasion begins. The Martians, led by a ruler named Think Tank, decides to invade Earth. Why? Because they consider Earth primitive and easy to conquer. Think Tank sends a team of Martian astronauts to survey Earth. The team lands inside a public library. But here begins the misunderstanding. They do not recognize books. They have never seen printed pages before. They mistook books for food items, communication devices, coded military manuals. Think Tank interprets everything incorrectly. He believes Earth is far more advanced than expected. As a result, he panics and cancels the invasion. Thus, Earth is saved, not by weapons, but by a book. This is the central irony of the play. Now, let us analyze the characters carefully because character based questions are very common in board exams. The drama includes Martian and human perspectives. First comes the historian, who is the narrator from the future, provides context and humor. Next, Think Tank, the Martian ruler, who is arrogant but unintelligent. Moving on to Noodle, the apprentice, who is intelligent and diplomatic. And Captain Omega, the leader of the Martian probe. And Lieutenant Iota and Sergeant Oop, the crew members and comical characters of the drama. Each character represents a different personality type and adds to the comic tone of the drama. Let us now study the most important characters in detail for character analysis questions. Think Tank is the self declared most intelligent being in the universe. He constantly praises himself. He even consults a mirror to confirm his intelligence. This immediately establishes his arrogance, his insecurity, his obsession with superiority. He believes Earth is a primitive ball of mud, but ironically, he is the one who behaves foolishly. His mistakes include calling books sandwiches, ordering his crew to eat books, assuming nursery rhymes as military secrets, panicking over imaginary threats. Think tank represents ego without knowledge, authority without wisdom, leadership driven by fear. The playwright uses satire to criticize leaders who act without understanding. In exams, always mention that think tank's character provides both humor and moral lesson. Now let us contrast him with the most sensible character in the drama. Noodle is Think Tank's apprentice. Unlike Think Tank, he is calm, observant, intelligent, and diplomatic. He corrects Think Tank indirectly. For example, when Think Tank wrongly calls book sandwiches, Noodle gently suggests that Earthling do not eat them. He never directly challenges authority. This shows true intelligence is humble and tactful. At the end of the drama, Noodle replaces Think Tank as ruler of Mars. This symbolizes wisdom triumph over arrogance. Humility leads to leadership. This is a very important character based interpretation that you need to remember during exams. Now let us look at the humor in the drama, which makes the play entertaining and meaningful at the same time. The humor in the play comes from misunderstanding. For example, books mistaken for sandwiches, Sergeant Oop trying to eat a book, listening to books like radios, overreaction to nursery rhymes. This humor is situational and ironic. The audience knows the truth, but the Martians do not. This gap between audience knowledge and character knowledge creates dramatic irony. The humor also highlights cultural differences, danger of assumption, superiority complex. So the comedy is not meaningless. It carries a powerful message. Now we come to the turning point of the drama, the interpretation of nursery rhymes, which completely changes the course of the events. The Martians finally realize that books are for eye communication. They open a large, colorful book called Mother Goose. This book contains simple nursery rhymes meant for children, but Think Tank interprets them as military codes, advanced technology manuals, strategic war plans. He reads imagination as scientific fact. This is where the drama shifts from comedy to over exaggerated panic. The misunderstanding grows so serious that it leads to the cancellation of invasion. Think Tank reads the nursery rhyme, Mistress Mary quite contrary. How does your garden grow? With cockle shells and silver bells and pretty maids all in row. Now listen carefully, children. Think Tank does not see this as poetry. He interprets it literally and strategically. He concludes by coming to a misunderstanding that garden grows are actually representing advanced agriculture, silver bells are representing production of valuable metals, cockle shells are explosive devices, and pretty maids in a row are organized military troops of planet Earth. Do you see what is happening here? He interprets innocent imagination as technological advancement. He assumes humans can grow metals like crops. This reveals two major things. Think Tank lacks cultural knowledge. He overestimates human capability due to ignorance. Now the second rhyme. Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle. The cow jumped over the moon. Again, Think Tank assumes animals are trained for musical culture. Cows can jump over the moon, which is representing advanced space technology. He becomes terrified that humans have mastered interplanetary travel. This is over exaggerated irony over here. And finally, the most important rhyme, Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. When Think Tank sees the illustration of Humpty Dumpty, he panics. Why? Because Humpty Dumpty resembles him. Round head, large figure. He thinks Earthlings have seen him, targeted him, planned an invasion of Mars. This is the peak of dramatic irony. The audiences understand the nursery rhyme is harmless, but Think Tank interprets it as a military threat. This misunderstanding saves Earth. So now that we understand how misinterpretation created fear, let us now move on to the most crucial question. How exactly did this book save the Earth? Students notice something very important here. The book did not fight. The book did not defend. The book did not attack. It simply existed. The Martians' ignorance turned simple rhymes into imagined threats. Think Tank concludes Earth has advanced agriculture, Earth has space trained animals, Earth has already planned an invasion of Mars. Because of his fear, immediate cancellation of invasion, evacuation of Mars, escape to Alpha Centauri. In simple words, the invader becomes the one who runs away. This is powerful irony. The message is clear. Ignorance creates unnecessary fear. Knowledge prevents conflict. Misunderstanding can change the course of history. This is a very strong exam point of view answer. Now let us step back and analyze the deeper ideas behind the humorous situation. So the important themes which we can see in the drama are: first comes importance of book. The drama begins with the historian saying that 20th century was called the era of the book. Why is this important? Because even in the 25th century, books are preserved in museums. This shows books preserve knowledge across centuries. Written words outlive technology. Literature shapes civilization. The book in the play symbolizes human intellectual power. And then comes dangers of ignorance. Think Tank is technologically advanced but culturally ignorant. He lacks understanding of human creativity and imagination. His ignorance leads to wrong assumptions, fear, panic, abandonment of mission. Thus, the play shows technology without understanding is incomplete. Moving on to the power of knowledge. Notice the contrast. Think Tank, large brain but foolish. Noodle, small role but intelligent. Eventually, Noodle becomes leader. This shows true intelligence is calm, humble, and open to correction. And finally, we are having the satire on authority. Think Tank constantly praises himself. He asks the mirror, who is the most intelligent being? He refuses to admit mistakes. This is satire. It criticizes leaders who lack knowledge, ignore expert advice, act on ego. Through humor, the playwright criticizes blind authority. Now that we understand themes, let us analyze the dramatic craft of the play. The play uses several dramatic devices. For example, first comes the flashback structure. The historian narrates events from the past. This creates curiosity, and comic exaggeration is where Martians overreact to nursery rhymes, and dramatic irony, where audience understands the truth but the characters do not. And finally, satirical dialogue. Think Tank's over-exaggerated pride creates humor in the play. These techniques make the drama engaging and memorable. Now let's explore the symbolism in the play. First comes the book that represents the knowledge and wisdom. Think Tank's big head represents the false intelligence and humor. Library, which symbolizes human civilization and learning. Now let's move on to the ending of the play and its deeper meaning. In the 25th century, humans and Martians become friends. Noodle becomes the leader of Martians. Martians learn to read. A model library is established on Mars. This ending is symbolic. It shows education leads to peace, cultural exchange removes fear, reading builds bridges between civilization. But interestingly, Martians still fear the book Mother Goose. This humorous detail reminds us that misunderstanding can leave long-lasting impression. And finally, important exam points that you need to remember is this play is a science fiction comedy drama, and it talks about the importance of book, where we are focusing on Think Tank's arrogance, Noodle's intelligence, misinterpretation creates humor here, and the message of the play is that knowledge prevents conflict. So some possible questions that might come in your exams related to this play can be: why did Think Tank cancel Invasion? How did Noodle correct Think Tank? Why is the book important? Character sketch of Think Tank, theme of the drama, humor in the play. And in conclusion, the play humorously reminds us that books remain powerful tools of knowledge. Misunderstanding creates unnecessary fear. Wisdom and humility lead to peace. It creates the timeless importance of reading. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching till the end. If you felt like this video was helpful, kindly please hit the like, share, and subscribe button. And see you in the upcoming video soon.